Full Metal Circus.
Welcome to the Full Metal Circus.
We should,
No.
do,
Use
it.
that
We should
voice?
do an offshoot that's that.
Full Metal
Just a Full Metal.
Circus. That's a great name for some kind of weird like. Oh fuck! I just lost the word. So, like a steampunk circus.
Oh,
Full
yeah,
Metal
yeah.
Circus.
We are the Full Metal Circus.
Oh my god, we could do something.
We could do
with
so many things with that.
We could do
But this is the 4 Mile Circus. And 4 Mile Circus, we're a media services company in Brooklyn, New York. And on our show here, we talk to independent artists about how they build an audience, how they fund their projects, and just how they get shit done. And today we've got John Wlaysewski
That was really good.
and Olive Hui
Yeah.
from Lake Cambrian, a delightful band. And before we talk to them, though, I think Nicole has a tip.
I do have a tip. You didn't introduce me this time.
Oh, yeah, Nicole is the other half of 4 Mile Circus. My name is Sean Mannion.
Yeah, what if people didn't know? People might not.
You know, people, this is episode 24. Like if people are coming in for the first time, they should listen to the last 23 because otherwise they're just not going to know what's happening.
Yeah, that's a great
They're going to
pitch.
lose the storyline.
Yeah, that's great. You can't just drop in on a podcast.
No,
Go
no,
back
no,
To
you
the
should
beginning
never.
and listen to every single episode.
They should start from the beginning,
Why are
listen to
you
every single
listening?
episode.
Stop listening.
Well, they won't know who the villain is.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, they should definitely listen to 50 hours of podcast and then listen to this one.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's their fault for not knowing who Nicole is.
Exactly.
Well, they'd miss the context and they wouldn't be able to fully appreciate
What are they talking
what
about?
you
The
have to say.
nuance.
Well, the
Yeah.
first 25 are special.
It's true. It's true. It just sets the tone for the rest of it.
But they do not contain this tip.
And what is this tip?
The tip today is about using Facebook and Instagram stories as well as Snapchat and other time-bound content to give your audience exclusive behind-the-scenes footage.
Like right now.
Yeah, if somebody wants to do it, this often happens.
You're talking about Facebook Live?
No, we're talking about Facebook Stories, which is a new thing they have now.
Facebook is doing stories now also?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew that because we're professionals.
Yeah. Man.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it, man.
Everybody's doing it. Yeah, no, not like yeah.
You can't
So-
keep up. They're all just trying to be Snapchat now.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean
They're all-
this top part?
Yes, that's what I mean.
yeah, okay.
That looks exactly like the Instagram stories top part. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's trying to be Snapchat because every social media platform wants to be every social media platform and be all things to all people, which I have opinions about, but I'm not on the board of.
I still like Periscope.
Yeah, well, Periscope does what it does, right? It's simple.
I forget to log back in, but sometimes I go back just to use it because it was the first one.
Yeah, and it's good. It does what it's supposed to do, which is it's a simple live stream.
I use
method.
Periscope for UFC and boxing.
Oh, you watch it that way?
You just type in like UFC 220, and then if it's on, someone's at the
Someone's
thing like
doing
this, and it's really. And then they're always like, "Stop giving us hearts. We're gonna get shut down because they're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to live stream like a pay
There's
per
another
view.
one.
Yeah.
You can hop
Yeah,
on.
so you always just hop on another one.
See,
But,
that's useful.
yeah.
That provides a service.
It does.
I'm not sure how much of a service Facebook Stories
Actually,
provides.
I wonder if Facebook Stories would shut you down if you were like filming like a boxing match that was on pay per view that people were supposed to pay for. Because
wonder.
Periscope shuts you down if it comes to their attention.
Yeah,
So
Story, does it have a limit of time?
I'm not sure.
Because otherwise you would be talking about Facebook Live.
Yeah, Facebook Live would be, I think, the closer analog to Periscope on Facebook.
can you explain
but-
Stories a little bit? How does it work?
I mean, it's like you basically live stream for a period of time,
And then you stop.
and then you stop, and it only exists on for I believe it's 24 hours.
Okay.
And then it goes poof and goes away. And
But each time you turn it on and turn it off, it kind of edits the whole thing together, right? Because you can like hit that story and you'll see like stop, started.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like there's little sections,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You have your
so-
Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi password.
it's kind of I mean, so it's kind of like Vine in that way, like back in the heydays of Vine when people would do like basically an in-camera or in-phone edit on like their Vines.
Yeah.
And you could do that with stories too. But what it can be useful for is whether you're making films or you're making, say, an album
Yeah.
and you have
that's true.
an audience you're trying to cultivate. and you want to give your fans, your potential audience or your existing audience, like a little kind of exclusive, time-bound, behind-the-scenes thing that's kind of like you have to be there, see it, and then it's gone.
And then it's gone.
Yeah, and it creates a kind of scarcity that can make it more exciting and kind of turn fans into insiders in a way. And so, like whatever your artistic project is, even if you're a writer, you know, you could do a story of, you know, you editing, which would be really boring, but who am I to judge?
I did.
Tune in to like tap, tap, tap.
I did
tap,
an
tap.
Instagram live of me making burgers the other day.
Yeah, you did. I didn't watch it because
You shouldn't have, because it was pretty boring. But people kept coming on and watching for like 2 or 5 minutes at a time, like expecting something to happen or me to say something, but I didn't.
I just didn't.
I just
really
made
wanna
burgers.
See, I didn't want to see.
Well, the thing is,
You
like,
didn't want to see me handle raw meat with my hands?
No, I didn't. That's exactly correct.
the thing is, like, with the way we are now as a culture, when something is intended content, people kind of tune out a little more. But if it's like, I'm gonna go to sleep now, let me put this on, 100 people will tune in.
Because there's possibility.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen?
It's not intended. It's just it's almost Truman Show-esque in a way. You know
Oh
what
my
I mean?
God.
You get to look into people's lives.
Sorry, I love Olive's cell phone case, but our listeners
Oh, is it
can't.
still the emotional egg?
Yes.
I just
okay.
did the Facebook story because I didn't care to start. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did Instagram just for
Well,
fun.
Facebook
but,
owns Instagram, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
true.
So
Yes.
they just moved a little of their.
Yeah, it's probably
It was like,
it's the
just moved it
exact
over.
same.
It's the same thing.
It's the exact
System,
same.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, to be honest with our listeners at home, because we're, you know, close like that. We can be honest. Relationships are based on
That's
honesty. I don't really use these services personally right now. Maybe the next time I'm like shooting, I will. And obviously, like we do it sometimes for the podcast. We've done little stories on Instagram, and maybe we'll do it on Facebook someday when I'm feeling less negatively towards Facebook.
Facebook is trying to get the young audience again.
Yeah.
You know, because Snapchat is like, what are they, 13 to like 22?
Something
Yeah.
like
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
Facebook
yeah.
is like everyone's mom and like cat pictures.
Exactly.
I've blocked my mom on Facebook. And you know what? Can I tell you? I unblocked her the other day. I made my one post public, and it was Barry Manilow coming out of the closet at 73. And I was like, let me just make this public, see what happens. And my mom writes in big letters, TMI. So I was like, you're blocked again. Because like, what does that mean? Like it's too much information to find out that someone that you grew up with for 30 years is now coming out of the closet. Like it was such a weird, judgy kind of mom thing to write that I was like,
listen to this.
I was like, block again. So now
Fair.
she can't see my, like
Yeah.
you have to prove yourself to me as far as being able to be on my Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's smart, and I
I,
support that.
Like I think no one's parents should be on their kids' Facebook.
I
I
don't
think so.
I don't
Only
think
way
my
my
dad has Facebook, and I think my mom might maybe have
My
it.
dad doesn't have an email.
Oh,
My mom has Facebook, and she runs it for my dad. And her email is johnwlaysewski@hotmail.com. Like, so he doesn't, he's like, what, did anyone send me anything? Like, that's, yeah.
He just doesn't want to deal with
He
it.
doesn't want to do it.
You know that, but that's just good for you. That's good for.
But I'm the opposite. I think we are responsible for talking to our parents and our family and make it transparent. Because my dad was like, do you really know a gay person? I'm like, I live with 6, 8 gay friends like for years. And I introduced him to, you know, trans friends. And I asked him if he wants to do mushroom.
Oh wow.
Olive lived in Hong Kong until she moved here. And they're,
Okay.
you know,
He
they're,
wouldn't, but I want him to know there's another side of the world. And
yeah,
Yeah,
for them,
absolutely.
gays are evil and trans, they don't even know what that means. It's like, is that a Trans
Okay.
Am? Is that a car?
Yeah.
You know? So, but I have like, you know, I lived here. I'm adopted. My mom's Irish, my dad's Polish, and I lived in America my whole life. So we tend to want to block our parents.
Yeah.
Too much parents. But like other cultures, especially if you live far away from them, why? Of course you're gonna add them. They'd be like, look, there's a picture of it, you know, whatever. But I'm just like, goodbye.
Yeah.
And my mom's, I don't even watch my mom's wall because it's all just, you know, sisters are the ones who care. Sisters are the ones who are there. Share this picture if you like sisters. Like, I'm just like, goodbye. This is irrelevant to anyone's life.
I don't really talk to
Brainworks.
my sister, so.
So, what is what I'm saying? Like, it's not real content. It's not like an opinion. It's like
Right.
It's like a forwarded meme that got Trump elected. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yes.
So it's not real shit.
It's that weird content that didn't exist at all before social media and now is like clogging up the tubes of the internet. And
adult memes.
Yeah, like adult,
And not adult like
anything.
sex memes, like adult memes. Like, I'm an adult. Here's a cat next to Jesus. Like, I want to die now. Like, just block that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm
Fair.
just more. I'm a minimalist in as far as owning stuff and as far as people. So like, if you're not offering content, I don't care if you're my mom. Like, I'm gonna block you. Like, this is not real content. I can see you. I live close by. They live in Glendale. I can walk there. So I see them when I want to see them, and then after an hour, I'm like, it was good to see you guys later. Goodbye. John, are you trying to, the sanitation test is coming up. All right, I'll see you guys later. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want that in your life? If you bring that into your life, aren't you kind of a masochist? Like, you'd rather have the attention from your parents, even if it's negative, than a little bit of quiet time where you can be yourself,
See, I kind of have your attitude, but my parents are really far away.
See, man, that's the tough part, because you want to stay in touch with them now.
Yeah. I mean, like, in a way, like, I do. I like hearing from them. What I don't like is when it's the stuff like, it's not exactly the sanitation thing, but it's like, why don't you do this? And I'm like, because I'm doing this other thing. You could ask about the thing that I'm doing. I'm putting a lot of time and effort and work into that.
Yeah, you're putting
I have to say, I really like my dad on Facebook. My dad's kind
Your
of
dad likes all our stuff.
Yeah, he's really supportive.
Very supportive.
He's really supportive. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Hi,
Thanks,
Mark
Dad.
Solomon.
I have to say, I think this is gonna sound sexist. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, I think Facebook might be where dads go to be free again. You know what I'm saying?
I'm really interested in this theory.
Because men around 40 or 50, they're like, I'm gonna buy a Trans Am finally. Like, now they can just go to Facebook and start liking the cool stuff that their kids are doing, and like they can like younger people's ideas and be like, man, I remember when I used to like bands.
And they can
The
like
last
talk.
time I saw a band, it was Jerry Dorsey. So like they can talk, they can communicate with you, and just by liking, they don't have to like express an opinion. They're just saying, I acknowledge that you're doing something, and I'm glad that we're sharing that. Like,
It's true.
and moms go on there and go, are you brushing your teeth? And you're like, God damn it, I want to die. So,
My mom doesn't have the internet. That's the thing. Yeah, she doesn't even have email or anything. She certainly doesn't.
Landline?
have
So you
Facebook.
call her?
Yeah.
Landline with no call waiting?
No,
mom
there's
was
call
busy.
waiting
Oh, okay,
and
good.
there's call screening. And for a while she wasn't. Oh, this is a whole thing. We don't have to talk about my mom's relationship to technology.
Okay, no.
Gets a little upsetting. But she has no internet. My dad is great though. On Facebook, I things happen like I get in arguments with Trump supporters on his Facebook wall, and he's like really proud of me.
Yeah.
He's
See,
like
that's great.
quietly proud. Like my sister told me, she was like, no, I don't think he was, because I like got into it with this guy and got like pretty. This was back right after the election, and this guy like popped up and was just a dick on my dad's Facebook wall. Like my dad said something about Trump being elected and it being bad, and some guy from the town he grew up in is just like, whoa, make America great again.
Oh,
We're gonna
God.
do it. He's gonna protect you from terrorists. It's okay if you hate him, sucker. And I'm like,
That's an adult male acting like that. Like
Yeah.
a monkey.
yeah, who's like
that's-
70 years old.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, no excuses.
Yeah.
You do kind of
That's
like
true.
just regress to being 12 after like 65.
Could be.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, that's my plan anyway. I'm not going to be able to retire. I'm going to still be working, but I'm going to be 12 at 65, doing whatever work I have. I'm just going to be like, boogers.
Yeah. I mean, my dad's 75 now. He like expresses himself more than he ever did. Like if he has if someone calls him like, yeah, you want to sign up for Newsday?
He's done. He's like, no, I don't.
He's like, no, I don't. I don't. Your paper, frankly, is very like subpar, and it's got a 7th grade reading level. And it's like pretty like, oh, ouch. You could have just said no. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So, is there any more to that tip?
That's Facebook stories.
Facebook stories.
And time-bound content for BTS. Any kind that's helpful, do it. It's a good way to get to know that technology,
The one thing I want to add is I
Go.
think Olive's a better person than me.
Okay.
Because she stays in touch with her family and cares about family. So don't listen to me out there. Like, what I'm saying is like kind of a rude asshole kind of way to approach family. So Olive has a better,
No, but,
more enlightened view of family, I think.
This is like the most complex tip we've ever had. It's about negotiating family relationships and kind of
What's
two
a f-
competing
I feel like I've learned more about myself and more about like
How far
my
away
feelings.
is your dad?
4,000 miles,
Where's that?
Alaska.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. You said that. Yeah. You should do that fishing thing. My cousins run the fishing. Like from June to August. They always like they're you go out on the ship, and then you gut them. You put them in the bags. You seal them, and I have family out there. The Polish side of my family, they do like salmon fishing in Alaska.
It's a good gig.
3 months a year.
My main problem with it is it's very physical, and I'm not very physical, and also it's on a boat, and it's on a boat in that way where it like goes like this, not like nice and smooth, but where you're like in choppy waters, and I'll just spend half the time throwing up over the edge of the boat.
Yeah, it's like a Nat Geo like reality television show out there.
It is.
You're right.
It is, and I've been on those. Probably not on the exact places where they're fishing, but I've been on the water out there in Alaska, and I spend most of my time with my head hung over the edge, just throwing up into the water.
So don't do it then.
I'm feeding the fish.
Yeah.
I'm feeding the fish.
We could do a reality show. 4 Mile Circus could produce a reality show like that. Sean
on a boat throwing up over the side.
Yeah.
I might not have as much of a problem here. I feel like it's different. I don't know.
What if we did that show exclusively on a combination of Facebook stories and Instagram stories and Snapchat?
I think we have the future right there.
That's gold. That's how we're going to make our money.
So, but let's not talk about ourselves. Let's talk about our guests. So, John, Olive, you guys have a music band that makes music sounds. And tell us a little bit about Lake Cambrian. What is it? How did it come to be? And why does it delight me so?
In 2011, I was just getting out of another band, and I had all these songs that band never used, because in that band I was just a guitar player. So I decided to record like a solo project, and then I met Olive while we were doing background work on Nurse Jackie, and found out that she was a multi-talented like singer, artist, songwriter, etc. So she came into the studio and then put some background vocals on a couple of the songs, and then Lake Cambrian was formed from like a solo project. It became like a real band.
Nice.
And now we just keep changing our sound every time we put out a record. So
it's a good sound though. Like usually I think we may have had this conversation before on the set of Maybe Sunshine. You guys appear in the Lisa Hammer web series Maybe Sunshine. I think we were talking about this. People will say they have a band, and you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then you finally listen to it, and you're like,
I'm already formulating my opinion when they say they have a band. I'm like, so I'm gonna say you have good energy next time I see you live. You guys have great energy. This is so tight. Keep doing it. Lean in.
But then, lean in. But then I listen to you guys, and I can't it's very catchy. It sticks. It sticks in the back of my head for like 3 days.
And Sean usually doesn't like music that's from today.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're not making music from today. Are we making something that sounds slightly retro, or is it sound like today?
I think it's got a little bit of a...
I mean, I think it sounds very like modern.
Okay.
I think it sounds fresh.
Yeah,
I think is an adjective that covers what I'm going for here. But it has elements, I guess, it's catchy for one.
Yeah, it's catchy.
It's accessible.
Yeah.
It has good energy. It's not the
oh
thing.
My God. OMG, I can't believe you just dropped that on me.
No, sincerely though, because there's this thing that happened like in the aughts, a lot of like indie rock music I couldn't listen to because it was just very low energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, are you trying? Or are you just don't care? It's just kind of
no. They were, you're right about the aughts. They were like, it's a musical shrug.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm like, if you don't care, why should I?
It's like a Brooklyn thing, because they have to look cool and kind of not give a shit, and people that go to the show cannot be too exciting.
Oh no, you can't possibly, even nod your head or have some kind of motion.
Have cross arm.
You watch it,
still.
They're looking terrible. You're like, wow, we're bombing after the show. You guys are amazing. And I'm like, well, you weren't. Because I was looking out at you, and, you feed off the audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they were, like, fasting. You know what I mean?
See,
yeah.
I watch like that when I go to shows, but I stand in the back so you can't so the band can't see me.
Oh, I do that
and
too.
I'm enjoying it.
I do that
and
too.
I'm enjoying it. And people will look at me and they'll be like are you enjoying it? I'm like, yeah, it's
great.
And it's usually not the like slow
It's
like
the
low
standing
energy
in the
stuff.
front and doing that. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Totally.
I feel like if I'm going to be near the stage, I should be like demonstratively
You're probably dancing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big dork, and like I have no coordination, but I'll be like headbanging or whatever. I'll at least be like
Look,
nodding
I went-
my head
you know, I
and,
went
like,
to,
doing something
Yeah.
with my shoulders, a little shimmy or something.
Our drummer is in like 5 or 6 death metal and doom metal bands, right? And
Right,
it was
right.
his birthday last week, so I went to St. Vitus to watch like a bunch of doom metal, and you kind of have to be brave to get up to the front of the stage. There's this
Yeah.
hole with a bunch of really judgy looking like metalheads / closet Nazis, and then I'm like, I want to go in the middle there because he's my friend and I'm watching this really heavy music.
Right.
So I was like, here I go. And I walk up and I'm standing in the middle, and then I'm like, do I have to move now to like show them I like it's a whole thing when you're up front. Like people are like all looking at the back of your head.
It's true.
So like it's a thing. So some people will just go, like I went up there and just kind of stood there, and I was like, man, I'm that guy who like bummed me out, like when I was on stage, because like, what are you gonna go to? Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, it's really tough to not become that thing that like ruined the show by
Right.
accident, but you liked it. 'Cause
Yeah.
why would if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be up front.
Right.
So then there you go.
See,
But it's
Yeah.
thinking too much too, because like you're
Right.
judging the audience and they're judging you. I feel like I learned about performing while we're on tour, because we
Okay.
outside of New York, everything changed. It's not uncool
People in
anymore.
Glasgow are insane. They're just, oh my God, I can't believe you're playing here. You guys are amazing. We haven't played yet. I know, but it's awesome. I can't believe you're here. Like, like they're so excited, and I love that.
Yeah.
Nope, not pretentious. Very unpretentious about their tastes. Almost to like to fish it, but it's good. Like coming from New York and going to any other country, they're just like really happy that you're there, and
Or even states.
they're trying to unwind from their job, and so they're already drunk when they show up, and it's kind of awesome.
There's this bad attitude in New York, especially in Brooklyn, of like the audience is doing the band a favor by showing up to the show. Whereas every New York band I know loves playing every place else more, pretty much.
The last show we played, I was like, how many vegans are in the audience? I said. Just because it was so like, I was like, a lot of vegans out there today. It's pretty good. Actually, yeah, John, the global enslavement of animals. I'm like, this is a show, okay, whatever. I'm not busting on vegans. I just think it's pretty funny. Joe Rogan said in his last stand-up comedy, there's no such thing as a secret vegan.
There are so many secret vegans, though.
Are there? Are you a secret vegan?
I mean, I'm not secret.
You don't
but,
talk about
but
it.
you didn't know.
But you didn't know
didn't know.
until.
But now we know.
See, the thing
If
is,
you didn't tell me, then you'd be a secret vegan. You just told us.
I know, but I only told you because
I know, I'm just fucking around. I'm just totally kidding. Yeah, it's I don't mean vegans.
no, I know.
I mean
know.
vegan as like shorthand for like that kind of self-righteous kind of Brooklyn hipster, where vegan is one of the many things.
For sure.
Fixie bike vegan.
Yeah.
For sure.
We were having a similar conversation before the show
were.
started about a
We were.
particular individual who is very on things, but in a way that's very performative and not practical, like for
and
other
not
people.
helping anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like judging other people instead of
Because it's an identity
Doing
thing.
something.
It's like, look at me and how righteous I am, which many vegans are. I got
The word vegan almost is like the word millennial. Like it's got this weird negative connotation almost, and it shouldn't have that.
No, but
It's a
it's
positive
true.
thing.
It's part of why I didn't I wasn't eating animal stuff, but I didn't want to call myself a vegan. I just wrote an article about this, and then a vegan got mad at me because
Of course he did. She did.
because this is what
course.
always happens whenever I write about vegan shit. It's like I'm like a bad vegan apparently, and like not vegan in the right way. And so because I wrote a listicle, it's on a website called Crizio. If people want to check it out, that's CRIXEO.
Listicle. What's a listicle?
It's like an article, but in the form of a list.
Oh, okay. I get
AKA
it.
the only thing anyone will
Plus
pay me
someone's
to
listing
write.
their testicle.
I want to read it.
That would be better.
This is a listicle.
That would be up my-
It's round, polyorchid.
That
you need to write a
pitch
listicle
that.
about testicles.
I should write a listicle about testicles, but this listicle was called like 10 things that, because it has to have a clickbaity title, like 10
Right.
things nobody tells you about going vegan, and it was meant to be.
That's cool.
It was meant to be an
I would read
accessible
that.
piece. Well, you can read it on Crizio. It was meant to like kind of encourage people, like about like things I've learned about like what makes it easier, but what's also hard. But one of the things I had was like, you don't get to be an asshole. Like, just because you're doing this thing doesn't mean suddenly you're on a higher plane than other people, or you're in any position to whatever. I had a whole thing. I'm like, we all make all sorts of choices, and like, I don't think it gives me a higher moral standing that I'm doing this thing, whatever. And of course, like a vegan, the one comment I saw when I first checked the thing was from some vegan being like, this is a good article except for number 7 because vegans are not assholes. And I'm like,
Jesus.
I didn't even say that. Like,
Thank you for proving your point.
Yeah, exactly. I usually have a very strict don't read the comments policy, but a friend of mine was like, oh my God, did you see the comment from that dumb vegan? And I was like, oh God,
That's
now
so
I need
awesome.
to look.
Wow.
I feel like vegans invented the terms problematic and triggered. That's how it feels. You know what I mean? That they're, that they invented like this feeling of like, oh my God, my safe space was really hurt when you said that vegans might be assholes. We're not assholes. We just care more about the environment than everyone else.
AKA you're an asshole.
Exactly. It's a circular, it's a vegetarian snake eating its tail. You know what I mean?
I mean, just because you're a vegan doesn't make you better than me.
Yeah.
That I'm a terrible person makes you better than me.
Yeah. You're better than me for so many other reasons.
Yeah,
than
it's
the
not
meat
that
part.
one. It's the I'm a drunk.
Do you
I
not eat
swear
honey?
too much.
Are you like one of those? Like
I
global
don't,
enslavement of bees? No.
I don't
Okay.
eat honey, but I'm not. It's like there needs to be a line in the sand somewhere, so I draw my line.
So the honey line.
Yeah, I draw the line there, but I also think like beekeeping not on this like heavy industrial level is a good thing, and I support it. And I'm not.
They have nowhere to live.
Yeah, at this
They're
point,
homeless.
like I don't eat it. I don't eat it in part just because it grosses me out now. Like I don't want honey anymore. Like it doesn't appeal to me. But I would eat like people like beekeep on their roof or whatever and are helping prevent colony collapse and whatnot. Like that's great. That's good for the environment.
I tried to convince a vegan that they could be cannibal, actually, because
I agree.
humans are bad for the environment, and veganism is a political stance, not a meat stance, right?
Yeah.
So if you eat a human, you're actually saving the environment.
Yeah, I don't think
so
cannibalism is necessarily
it's vegan
contrary to
to me,
veganism
yeah.
personally, but that's me.
I mean that's also convenient for you because you do eat people.
Yeah. Well, shh.
I mean,
Secret.
But you have to eat vegans, though.
that's true.
If you're gonna be vegan and you can't eat people, you got to be kosher.
But it's punishment.
It's true. But that's true because they've already eaten the meat. There's nothing you can do about that.
Look,
so it's not about what goes into your body. It's about getting rid of them.
I'm not
Totally get it.
I'm not Puritan about any of these things.
Yeah.
None of us can be pure and clean. Like we're all tainted, we're all compromised, we're all corrupted, and I think the greater good of punishing meat eaters outweighs the fact that you're consuming some protein that was processed via animal via their digestive system.
I had a hamburger yesterday.
Was it good?
It was good. You can eat me. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good,
Yeah.
good. Noted.
It was
But
good. It had blue
also-
cheese on it too.
That sounds good.
But
Yeah, it was so
also,
good.
it's not like we eat a lot of meat. I think
It's like a once a week,
we
once
meet,
every 2
I think once
weeks
every
thing.
2 weeks.
That's-
So we're mostly vegetarian anyway. It's just that we don't put the names, the titles, and
Right. Yeah.
I eat lots of meat.
I'm a 13-day vegan, and on that 14th day, hamburger.
Well,
No,
that's what
not this work.
Another article I got in trouble with vegans for writing was I interviewed a butcher I know who
Nice.
well he's like
The thing is, like, it's funny that you didn't get in trouble from meat eaters. Why would they should be like, this vegan interview, making meat eaters look bad, but it's the vegans that got upset.
oh well I get shit from meat eaters too. I totally get shit from meat eaters, but
so what about that one?
well because it's like I didn't even read the comments, but I heard that there were vegans that were upset that I had like interviewed a butcher because he was very into environmentally sustainable meat production and how that could be done. But so like obviously he eats meat. He actually was a former vegan. He had been vegan for a while and now is a butcher. And I thought that was interesting because he's a guy I really respect and I thought had good political ideas. And I oftentimes will feel more politically aligned with butchers than some vegans. That's a thing that happens sometimes. World's a big place. But what was my point? Oh, he was saying basically like, so obviously he's in favor of eating meat, but he was saying like sustainably people need to eat beef very rarely because it's just the planet can't.
Yeah.
He was like, really people should be eating beef like once a year or something like that. And so I think there's something to be said for, cutting down on meat consumption because it's better for you, it's better for the planet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah, they fart a lot.
They do.
Lots of methane.
Lots of methane.
We have too many. We wouldn't have that many cows in the world if it wasn't for the meat industry. That's true.
No.
That's
true.
It would
Oh,
be
yeah,
like
we
a
wouldn't.
basic amount, like the amount there are deers, maybe.
Yeah.
Or is it deer?
Less, I think.
Less.
I'm talking out my ass now. I don't fucking know.
Maybe
but
less.
a lot.
There's a
less
lot
than
of
what we
reasons to
have.
not have the amount of cows we have right now. There's
As
too many
long
cows.
as, as long
Too
as
many
there's
cows.
enough for me to have some, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about anybody else eating it, but cow is kind of my favorite.
You can eat it. It's
It's
just we need to
it's kinda my
focus
fa-
on
I don't. Nobody else can have any.
treating them better and not hating other people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
But let's talk
Has this podcast gone off the rails? What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about politics and me.
Cambrian and social
So
media. Cows.
Vegans. Let's talk about the how many cows do you kill to make an album?
Let me think about that. On CD or on cassette?
Well, first CD, then cassette.
Okay. I don't know.
You don't
Because
know.
it depends on the CD, like how much meat the people who work at the plant eat.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it's a vegan plant, it's like none.
If it was a vegan plant, none. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the making of CDs. So let's get back on track, if we can.
So
I don't know where we are. We were gonna-
you guys started in 2011.
Yeah.
You met on set because you're both actors as well. Is that right?
yes,
Yeah.
Olive's been an actor for a long time.
Uh-huh.
he doesn't
think-
call himself, but he booked his first commercial audition.
Yeah, I booked an audition, but it was a commercial. It had to do with being a musician, so I had like an advantage
Okay.
over the actors who were outside going, "I'm a musician. You know, and I was like, "I'm a musician," and so it was like a USA Network commercial advertising Vonage and how I can like mix over the phone because it's so clear. Oh, ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to buy Vonage because they were like, you have to be a Vonage customer. So I did the audition, and they were like, yeah, come back for callback. Just bring your bill for Vonage, which is phone service through the computer line.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went home and bought it right away and like changed the date to a year before before I printed out the receipt, and I brought it in. They were like, yeah, it's fine. And then I did the audition and got it. But I still don't consider myself an actor because I just did it because I don't want to have a full-time job. I want to be able to be a musician. So it's
you
not like
need
I went
something
into
that-
it
yeah.
wanting to act. I went into it wanting to have free time. So, and that's how Olive and I met. So actually, it was worth doing.
We're playing patience.
Yeah, on
Oh,
Nurse Jackie.
really?
There's Jackie in the hospital gown.
Yeah, when she met me, I was in like this gown with just underwear.
And the back is
nothing
like
else.
open.
Yeah,
And I
so,
was
like,
like asking him, should we get some double-sided tape? Double-sided tape.
Yeah, because we were walking around like flapping in the breeze, like ass cheeks out and stuff.
Oh, friendly.
Yeah,
It's a good way to
it's
meet.
a good way to meet.
It's a good way to meet.
Playing patience.
Did your characters have illnesses or disorders or injuries?
Didn't she have like an injury?
I got bit by a raccoon or something on my leg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, she had like a bloody like bandage.
That's cool.
You know,
What did you have?
yellow fever. I'm kidding. No, it's just is that racist? I don't know if it's racist. weird.
I don't know if that's racist. I don't know. I would be if I said it,
Yeah, but you didn't.
but I didn't.
It's
But
real.
you
No,
did.
once again, it's about intent, right? I
Right.
don't think it's racist if you say it, unless you secretly hate Asians. Then it might be racist. But it's
don't
then secretly racist. You outwardly hate Asians. No, and that's fine too. You know, I don't know. Racism gets a bad rap.
But okay, so you guys met on set, and then you recorded together. You
We were already
recorded a couple
I was already
albums.
recording. It was
Okay.
about 5 songs into a 9-song record, and then Olive came in, and her voice is great, so she sang on a bunch of songs.
Uh-huh.
And then we put a band together around this solo thing, and that's how the band started.
Okay.
Got a bass player on Craigslist.
And that
which,
worked out?
if you haven't put an ad out on Craigslist to get a bass player, even if you don't have a band, just do it. And just have them come in. We had a guy come in with one arm. We had a guy come in. That was my favorite. He like came in. He was auditioning.
Could he play, though?
And then he took his jacket
Better
off,
than a
and he
lot
had
of
one
people.
arm. It was amazing. He could play.
Nice.
He had a
Fantastic.
hook on this arm that he put a pick in, and then he had the other arm.
Okay.
And he was like, and he was like super, super steady.
That's cool.
Nice.
And then what's funny is like later on, another band I knew, he tried out for that because we didn't accept him, and they were like, yeah, we were gonna take him in, and then we went out with him, and he got like pissed drunk and was like screaming about Chechens or whatever. Like because he was in the army and his arm got blown off by a grenade. Like he has this crazy
Okay.
story, but he was also there was this was not working right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Right.
even though
I
he was
can
a good
imagine.
bass player and it's kind of amazing,
Yeah.
like he like got really really disruptive and aggressive
Right.
while out just celebrating that he was going to be in the band, and then that was it. So
And like,
There's-
well, not so much.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're putting together a band, that's at least as important as how well the person plays.
I mean,
It needs
and
to
they
be
were. It was
somebody
fun.
you can-
Yeah, and what's funny is the band that was trying him out was like, you know, we were like a one-armed bass player who was arm got blown up by a grenade. Like we kind of want him in the band just for that story too. Like it's kind of awesome. But then like they looked down the hall of their future with this guy, and they were like, this is how he is on day one. That's not gonna.
Do
That's
we
not
need
gonna
him
fly.
ranting about Chechnya
yeah,
at every show?
like drunk and like
Getting
kind
into
of
fights
aggressive
with
with
our
the waiter.
fans.
Yeah.
You Chechnyan, you know, like at the waiter, you know. So
Nope,
yeah, kind of
No.
not worth it.
kind of a lot, you know.
And so you guys went from there to you've recorded. How many albums do you guys have now?
Three albums.
3 albums.
And
3 full albums and
EP.
2 EPs.
The new EP is coming out soon.
Yeah, the new
Ooh.
EP will be on cassette.
I'm
Because,
excited about that. I do have a cassette player.
I just ordered one. It just showed up.
Nice.
I have we have a tape, we have headphones, like a Walkman.
That's how I listened to most things back in the 90s. Is because
Yeah.
I had a little.
Was it the yellow one that was waterproof?
No, it was just like a little gray like I think it was a Sony.
Does it reverse naturally when it hits the end?
Auto reverse.
Auto reverse. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
Auto reverse.
No, I don't think it had auto reverse. It did.
Yeah.
It did. I didn't have to take it out and flip it over
Yeah.
to play the second side.
That's
I
auto-
remember that was
that's-
one of my one of my favorite parts about.
Yeah,
it.
that's auto reverse. That's
Oh, is that auto
that's
reverse?
what,
Yeah,
like,
it hits the other
1980s
Oh,
side.
I thought you meant like
technology.
auto rewind. Okay.
No, it
No.
reverses right away and just plays the other side.
Yeah,
It goes
yeah, yeah,
back and
Yeah,
forward.
that just like came back from the recesses of my brain. I don't think those words have come out of my mouth in that combination recently.
No one has said auto reverse in a long time. I have to say.
That's
I didn't
but
know
we-
what it was
yeah.
called.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
like taking it out and putting it to the other side and the crunchy sound when you close it.
Yeah.
It is a satisfying physical.
But I liked it when I was like walking around with it though, and I would just go over to the other side. But I had a bunch of albums in the '90s. Like,
Do you still have the cassettes?
no, I don't
I
think
do.
so.
It's funny that we found a place that would do them.
Oh yeah.
But I made the executive decision to put the entire thing on both sides, just in case someone doesn't have auto reverse.
That was thoughtful.
You know what I mean?
Very
Because
kind.
otherwise it's like 4 songs on this side, 3 or on the other, and then there's like this 3-minute space, and you kind of have to. The arrangement of the cassette has to be so that the songs kind of match in time. Which is
Yeah.
why some earlier cassettes, like Led Zeppelin cassettes, where they had like a 9-minute song and stuff, it would fade out on the cassette. Like Achilles' Last Stand faded out instead of being
Huh.
11 minutes. It's like 9 minutes on the cassette.
Wow.
So because they had it.
That's fucked up.
It's really weird. Like they changed the songs for the cassette a little bit, and
Huh.
I always thought that was kind of
That's messed
weird.
up.
Yeah.
I used to have a cassette label with my sister in like the 1990s, and so I spent a lot of time thinking about
Making
how
mixtapes?
to. No, well, like we released music, like we'd like 4-track stuff basically, and
Yeah.
we'd do compilations with like friends of ours we knew through zines and stuff like that. And we used to order our tapes from disc makers,
Yeah.
which had like all different lengths of just blank tapes. And oh my, it's in my mom's house somewhere, all our old tapes and shit. And I really wish I had them now.
You should have them.
Maybe.
You can re-release them. It'll be a whole thing.
There's tapes I don't
It'll be
have.
very
There's
popular
music
now.
I put out that I made that like I don't have.
Call your mom.
Somebody else out there has it.
There's so much
I
music out
asked
there
on
that-
Facebook.
yeah.
I was like, does anybody have? Because I'm still, I'm Facebook friends with a lot of
Yeah.
people I knew
Yeah.
from back in those days.
And they're all like, we would never admit to that, Nicole. We would never admit to listening to your music.
they have some. We don't need to go down a digression of my musical history, but they have the stuff I don't want, basically.
Right.
And then sometimes people want to play it on radio shows, and I'm like, no, please don't. Please do
The
not.
first thing I ever recorded was There's Extra Room on the second side of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden on
Uh-huh.
tape. So I put tape over it, and it was like playing a song and like playing keyboard. so that tape is out there where it's like, only the good die young, and then like so I
That's
like
the
recorded,
magic of
I recorded a
cassette.
2-minute song at the end of an Iron Maiden cassette that I had, and then sold it. So it's out there somewhere.
Someone has
Someone's
it.
like, that last song on the record's terrible. The bonus track is really bad.
It sounds nothing like Iron Maiden.
It's like a Casio and some guy with an accent singing. It's really strange.
You just reminded me.
Yeah, have you done that? Have you like taped over
Yes.
real tapes?
We used to release this is how high quality our cassette label was. We used to release some things on there was this like kind of scam thing that some of us used to do where there was this church that would send you these Bible tapes for free.
Oh my God.
Like they would send you a box of like you'd request which like series you want. It would be like lessons or whatever, and they'd send you this box of like 10 like Bible tapes, but of course they had the tabs taken off because they were, they had professionally recorded these Bible tapes.
Jesus took those tabs off himself.
Jesus detabbed those cassettes, and we, like the heathens we were, just put smack tape, some Scotch tape right over that, and we just dub our shit onto that.
That's so good.
Wow.
Nice.
Without changing the label?
We'd write over it and mark.
I would love to
or
just
we'd,
not
like,
change the
stick
label and then just have all these Bible tapes out there that people put in, and it's like your music. That'd be so good.
You could. I wonder if that. Oh God, I'll ask Louisa. I'll ask my sister what the fuck that thing was called because it might still exist.
I hope
you
it
could make
does.
this dream a reality. It's possible.
Yeah, because there was an article in AV Club like 2 months ago about the 10 hardest to listen to records, and like that's where I got the idea to do cassettes, which is like kind of a small, really kind of pathetic version of this. There's a Jack White record that has a record inside the other record, so you have to listen to it and then break it open and get the other record. So once you listen to that first record, you don't have it again.
Oh,
so everyone has to buy 2 copies. And then there was another one where when you listen to the record, it's so porous that it destroys the record as you're listening to it, so you can only listen to it once. There's a whole bunch of records that exist that are really kind of hard to listen to, so I was like, cassette will be my version. Yeah. I almost put out an 8-track, but I was like, cassette will be the version.
The next one can be an 8-track. You just go back in time. Go back in time.
But the records that self-destruct is kind of amazing.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of awesome. Like, as you're listening, it's like,
That's like
that's it.
Facebook story.
It
is.
You can't be like, wait, what did he say? Oh shit, I've lost it.
Yeah. I like that one part. Well, it's gone now, so.
It's gone now.
So Facebook stories are like the modern day self-destructing records.
They're like, this message will self-destruct.
Yeah.
It's like, get smart or whatever.
Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. But so then.
Still in 2011, huh?
Oh no! I was curious how you guys came together, and then you've done you said 4 albums.
Yeah, that
Four
first,
releases, yeah.
Yeah.
that first one where I was still in my not pretentious music phase, but I was like, I really like Pinkerton by Weezer. They didn't record that to a click, so we didn't record that album to a click. Put the bass through like a distorted orange amp, lots of feedback. So that was like, that record doesn't sound like any other record that we put out. The first record sounds like
It's called
Pinkerton
The Last
Part 2.
Concert.
Yeah. And then everything after that kind of turned into what you know.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And so, how did you start getting people to listen to it? Did you just play shows and see what happened, or?
well, we put out that record,
And
and then a Japanese record label contacted us and wanted to put it on their label called This Time Records. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I sent them the stuff, and then next thing you know, we had like 600 followers from Japan on Twitter, and like all these like people talking to us in Japanese, and you would translate it. It was like, me, big, happy, loves the album, big time. It's great.
Someone was like, I hope my the album will grow wings so that it can fly to Japan soon. Like they're very like poetic about it.
That's lovely.
Very cute.
They have they really like the first record, and they're kind of like disappointed in everything else. But they really like the first record with all the out of tune stuff and all the songs on there about being a shut in or taking a job you don't want. So it's a very like, it will speak to the Japanese kids, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they're like, we like Cambrian, but we just like the early stuff.
yeah, I liked them before they were cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they were never cool, but I liked them before they weren't cool.
But that's how like people like Weezer, the early ones.
It's true. So that's our Pinkerton. That's the album that people like in retrospect, but like this new stuff. I don't know. So that's how it started, and that kind of gave me the confidence to continue the band. That like another country decided they liked it. I mean, we sold 600 copies of it over there.
Right.
I didn't see a dime, which is fine. But we sold a lot. Of the first record, and that made us keep going. And then we played a lot of shows, because there was another band that we knew in Williamsburg where the drummer and the singer in that band was our drummer, and he was like super into playing shows. So whenever they booked a show, we would like play it with them and stuff, and we played a lot. And then I don't know. Like, you're asking, like, you probably want to know about the social media aspect.
Well, I'm kind of curious because it's sort of, especially for a band, it's not necessarily social media because unlike filmmakers, who are a lot of the people we talk to, like, you go out and you play in front of people, sometimes people who don't know who you are, and like it's a different experience.
I think we said yes for 2 years. Whatever that is, we just said yes.
That's true. That was our guiding principle for the first 2 years. Say yes to everything.
And how did it work out? How did that?
Well, some shows are like, wow, do you really want to play that venue with those bands? But that's how. It's not just ego, but it's like you always have another voice that's like, no, don't do that. But don't say no too soon. I would say just see what happens. And it's only one show. It's only one day, and there's always something you don't expect that happens.
So sort of a process of just something comes up and you say yes to it and see how it works out until you kind of find
Have we said yes to anything super
recently?
bad?
No. Oh, you mean like super bad? Let me think about it.
It's all those
probably,
people that are coming out to
definitely.
try to do work for
Played
us.
a lot of Asian-oriented shows. I don't want to talk about those. But I put together my own PR company. You know what I mean? To do it.
Okay.
So anyone out there, any blogs out there that posted our stuff in the last 4 or 5 months, that was me, not Brooklyn Indie Releases. No, I have my own PR company, and people pay me to do PR for them because I'm pretty good at it. But I use that company to kind of push our stuff to blogs that might not have listened if the band per se was contacting them.
Of course, yeah.
It's good to have that name, I guess.
It's good to have like that buffer of like, oh, I don't want to deal with a band. Oh, PR company.
Particularly because like if they want to say something negative about you, they're like, here's our review, and it's like, I hate this record. They can do that to the PR company. They can't do it to the band.
Yeah.
Or they can do it if they're okay with that. But it makes it easier for you to get a review, positive or negative, if there is the buffer, 100%. It's like having a manager. When you have a manager, it's like, no, the band really wants to do this show. I think it's a bad idea for them. You know, so then the band's not the asshole who turned it down. It's that manager. That guy, he's a hard ass. He's the one who said no to opening for Nickelback. It wasn't the band, that hates them so much. Exactly.
It's a buffer.
So the buffer is a good idea. And
that
then
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's also a site called, never mind. There's a site where you can submit your stuff to all these different, by genre, and then they get paid if they give you an answer, yes or no. And they have to give you a full paragraph of what they liked or didn't like.
Huh.
And if they like it, then it'll just say this. They have agreed to post your stuff. Here's their private email. Talk to them about the when and the where.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the name of that site later.
Okay.
But it's a good site for that. There's a few like that where they've all decided to join. Pitchfork was on there very momentarily, and then you're like, this is too much, and they left because everyone was probably submitting to them.
Yeah.
But a lot of the smaller, like our newer sound, the Girl Bag Holder sound is more electro pop.
Yeah.
A little bit more than the other one, and there's a whole lot of electro pop sites.
Okay.
And like indie pop, whatever you want to call it. Like probably 120 on here. And you pay the site $40 for 50 submissions. So I pay, and then I submit to the 50 that seem like they're posting stuff similar. And then they have 2 days to say whether they hate it or like it. And sometimes they're like, I don't like your vocals, or the lyrics didn't speak to me. And sometimes they're like, hey, this is great. We're going to post it on this date. Let's talk. So that's cool. So that's been helpful. So especially with the new stuff.
Yeah. So it's being your own sort of PR team.
Yeah.
And pushing it forward in sort of a traditional way. And then you also use social media to a degree.
I use Twitter a lot.
You're on Twitter because I was tweeting that we were going to interview you, and I was like, there they are. Good.
Yeah.
So.
And I retweeted that, and then I followed you, and.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't been back on since I was on the bus. I'm like, I should tweet about what I'm going to do.
Social media is really good for that. Ever since, go ahead.
More importantly, is just you have to love your music. So you want to talk about it. And when you meet people, just treat them like they're real people. Like, I remember one time we were featured on a blog, and I was so excited, so I filmed ourselves reading the blog, and I tweeted back or uploaded it on YouTube as a vlog, and that person was like, no one has ever done that. I was like, really? But we appreciate that you feature us, and you're a real person, I'm a real person. We're not hiding behind our social media handles. And since then, I feel like we just talk to people, you know, you can't be too worried about giving out too much or that, what would they think? Yeah, don't care about what people think. If you love it, just go for it.
That makes sense.
I think
It's very inspiring.
That's good advice, and it's good advice not just for musicians, but you know, whatever
It
your
is
field
everything that
is,
you
you
do.
know, like treat people like they're real people. Fucking talk to them, and believe in what you're doing. You know, that comes up all the time in everything we talk
It's
about
true.
ever. Because like if you don't give a shit, if you don't believe in your project, why should anybody else give a shit?
Yeah, I mean,
Or be
that's one of the
excited about
things
it.
that'll irritate me most on either my own or even our company Twitter is when people like just say, "Hey, look at my like retweet my thing." I'm like,
Why?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I've done that
Why?
before too. Like I've totally done like the mistake stuff like that too. But you're just like, no. Like at least pretend like you give a shit about what I'm doing.
Yeah, or at least like connect it. Find a reason why. Like, oh, hey, I saw you posting about this thing. Maybe you'd be interested in this thing because
Totally.
like if they've got the same lead actress or whatever.
Exactly.
You know.
I know for myself that there is a level of enthusiasm that's off-putting though. So
Yeah.
there's this line where it's just like, oh my god, my new single, and I'm like, I hate this person already. I don't know them yet. They're probably awesome. They probably love their mom, whatever. But like, there's a level where it's like, this is really just about your ego, isn't it? And you want me to be about your ego, and if I feed it, it's only going to get bigger. So I'm not going to help you. You know what I mean? So, I'm not saying you have to have an overt amount of humility about your music, but there is a level of like being into it and loving it, but also being disconnected from other people liking it. You have to be okay with the fact that you like it yourself too.
Yeah.
And when you present it, then it's okay. Because sometimes it just seems like I went to dinner with the guy who started. You know the band Newfound Glory? Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of them? Mm-hmm. What record were they on? What record label was it? It's got like I thought it had a car-oriented name.
I don't remember.
It's not Car Park. It's some.
What label they
It's
were
a really big label that like he sold, and now but he's an awesome dude. I went to dinner with him, and I was like, just hanging out with him because we're friends, and he brought these two, I'm sure, lovely gentlemen from Long Island. And they were just like, so how do we get famous? Like, what's hot right now? Like, what kind of music should we do?
Nicole's shaking her
And
head.
he was like, just do what you love, man. What are you asking me? Well, you know, I mean, we can do anything. This is our cover of Adele's "Hello" in like a SoCal emo version.
No, thank
like it was
you.
just really irritating how enthusiastic they were, and I learned from it. I was like, there's a level of enthusiasm where you're just like a bro who just wants to be famous.
Yeah.
And it's like really annoying. And they crossed that line so much in this like dinner at an Italian restaurant with a guy who had a label at one point. It bothered me.
But it sounded like they were enthusiastic about the idea of becoming famous. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like, I wrote this song and I'm really excited about it,
Right.
which is
True.
a different thing.
That is true.
And they're like, here's a cover of a thing. It doesn't matter what we do. Which reminds me of
yeah, this thing's famous already. If we cover
yeah.
it, will we be famous? Like,
sure.
yeah.
It reminds me of your Human League cover actually.
Don't you want me?
Don't You Want Me, which is a song I listened to a ton as a kid on cassette because my dad had that album.
And it's a great song.
It's a great song, and you guys do a great cover of it. But it doesn't sound different from your other stuff. Like it doesn't sound like this, like wildly, like we're just doing it for the people who might.
Because it
wanna listen
sounds
to
like
it.
it's from us.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's from you, but it also sounds like the song. Like you know.
We generally record covers. We recorded covers when the Japanese label was like, we need a bonus track for the record because the record's already available. So we need a reason why they're buying it from us instead of like listening on Spotify. So whatever it is, you do it for us and then don't put it up for like 5 months.
Uh-huh.
Let us be the only ones who have it.
Right.
And
Okay.
Don't You Want Me was our... I
Was
love
one of
that
those.
song. So
Yeah,
and
it's a
then
great
there's like male,
tune.
female, like double voice, and
Yeah,
it just totally makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense for you guys, but
Yeah.
those two Long Island guys doing "Hello."
Oh, they really bothered me.
Well, it's just like, I mean, integrity isn't a word that comes out of my mouth that often in terms of like, I like musicians with integrity. But it's
Yeah.
like, if as an artist of any stripe, if you're just like, I just want to be famous and I'll do whatever I think other people will like, it's like you have no integrity. You have, like, who are you though? Why should I want to listen to you if you're just willing to do whatever you think is going to be popular?
Well, the tricky part about that is if you're getting into pop music, I think you kind of have to be
to a degree.
In that, like if Britney showed up and goes, "I have these songs about abortion I love so much," they'd be like, "Just go away."
I want to hear those.
But
songs.
she's like, "I'm naked, dress me. I don't know how to write lyrics. Write the lyrics." I totally get that. Frank Sinatra never wrote a song. I totally understand the whole point of pop music.
Sure.
But these are band people with backward baseball hats with a lot of like patches on them.
Yeah.
Of the bands that this guy's label put out. So yeah, it's opportunistic, and it's kind of like a spoiled, bratty millennial. Like, I want to be famous. That Friday song is really famous. Like, it's almost like privileged to me.
Yeah.
It feels a little privileged. Like, make me famous because I'm a white guy from Long Island. I want to be famous this year.
Well, white guy from Long Island.
He's already famous.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
I already know who he is.
You that guy? Yeah, white guy
I got
from
the
Long Island?
stickers.
You're awesome, am I right? White guy from Long Island. That's gonna be my new band. It's a great name.
That is a good one.
It's so good.
And it should just be like the trashiest, like most what is it? Like the what you're describing, like sort of pop that's just trying to be famous.
Yeah. That's always been the balance with the music that we make. I try to balance whatever the word commercial means, commercial appeal with personal vision in a way that's not offensive to either. It's very difficult to do, to make because as soon as I hear a catchy song, I'm like, you wanker. Like my first impression is like, this guy sucks. But when I hear something that's too personal, I'm like, you pretentious bitch. So like, there's got to be a thing where you're doing it because you like it, but there's something to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate on Phil Collins. I don't love Phil Collins, but Phil Collins' commercial music, I was never like, you wanker. I was just more like, oh, that's interesting because the lyrics are always kind of depressing, and the music is,
there's a contrast.
Musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, like In the Air Tonight, I'm not going to be like, you wanker. I'm like, that's a fucking good song.
It's a great song.
So good. So there is a balance that can be reached.
I think
it doesn't have to be annoying,
What kept us from sounding too commercial is if you listen to the lyrics. My friend was getting married. She's like, I looked through all your songs. I cannot even use one song on my wedding day. I guess it's still a little dark, but the melody is so exciting.
It's kind of a bummer that I'm allergic to positive lyrics. I feel like I'm allergic to down comforters or something. Like it's like this thing that like people like.
Yeah.
But I can't write Love of a Lifetime. I would be like, well, every time I hear myself, I would want to like put an all in my temple, what I mean? Like that, but I'm not saying I'm proud of that. I'm kind of like bummed out.
But it's got that
I can't do it.
It's still got that sort of In the Air Tonight quality where it's like if you're listening to the lyrics, you're like, that's okay, that's depressing. But the song itself, like
melody only.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's like the lyrics are appropriately depressing for how depressing I can be or enjoy, and then I just bop into it.
And that's the balance. Because these guys who were at this meeting, man, I feel like I already know the lyrics they would have written. They would rhyme fire with desire, face with place, or whatever. I can already see the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can already see the somewhat breathy vocal, not full Bryan Adams, but like not,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can already see how annoying it would be.
Yeah.
Like someone's be like, that's my wedding song. And I'll be like, you're going to get divorced. Like, I hate you. You know what I mean? Like, so I could already see what they were selling, and it's just pure syrup. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's not.
You should do that, man. You should do it.
Like a white guy from Long Island is the best. Anyway, it just bothers me, and it kind of bums me out that it bothers me, because why let something like that bother you?
Right.
Because they want to do that. That's their right to be that superficial. Yeah. None of my business. Yeah. I'm not mad at Frank Sinatra for it. Why would I be mad at them?
Because Frank Sinatra was actually good.
Yeah, that's true. But what if they're good?
Well, but they're not going to be good.
I know. That's
not.
true. That's true. But
not.
What if they were good? Would we forgive them? I think I'd still be annoyed at them.
Oh, maybe.
I'm annoyed at Maroon 5. Well, that's an annoying band, right?
Are they good?
Yeah,
It's Moves Like Jagger, one of the most annoying songs ever written.
Annoying.
Right? But they're
really
good.
Annoying.
They're good at music.
I mean, I get.
How come ABBA's good and Maroon 5 isn't? That what I mean?
Because ABBA doesn't annoy the fuck out of
That's
me.
what I'm saying.
See,
so there's
ABBA,
that thing. That
ABBA
line.
annoys me, and me saying that on the podcast is what's
ABBA
going to
annoys
end my
you?
marriage. But
I think ABBA's amazing, but that's the thing. Your threshold for pop annoyance is a little less than mine. Mine goes up to including ABBA, and then doesn't go past ABBA maybe.
Yeah.
Maroon 5 is way past ABBA.
Maroon 5's its own. They're with like Smash Mouth. They're in like that kind of
see,
category
that's insulting
of like.
to Maroon 5.
to-
You don't feel like Smash Mouth's the end? Like you fall
There's
off the
always more.
earth.
There's always more. It always gets worse. If you start going down
You know
like
what's
YouTube
really
rabbit
good?
holes.
Someone took All Star from Smash Mouth and made it one note. So they tuned it to one note. It's really good. Oh. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on, play. Like the whole song is, and all the instruments have been tuned to one note. It's incredible.
Oh, that's funny.
It's good. It's like Joy Division.
Yeah.
It's depressing to listen to in a good way.
I mean, it's depressing to
because-
listen to anyway. But.
Yeah, it's depressing to listen to anyway, but just in that way that makes you feel like you're out of step with the song, and thus you have some kind of like, I don't know, it's an uncomfortable kind of nausea.
There's also a YouTube video where someone alphabetized the lyrics, so they cut the song up and started from A and went to Z. So it's just like like any word.
Wow.
And so All Star is like alphabetized. It's pretty amazing.
That sounds a lot better than the actual song.
Yeah. No, most of these remixes are better. One note, so much better. So much better.
Well, we're going to do a second part where we're going to talk a little bit more about how you guys got things made, get things funded. Mm-hmm. But before we do that, we're gonna do two things. We
Game.
Yes, we're gonna do a game. But
These
what
guests
we
came
used
prepared.
to do, I
This is
know, I'm
great.
excited about it.
So excited.
What we've done in the past is we've kind of treated this favorite things as like a game, but it's not really a game. And I feel like we can do favorite things and a game.
Yeah, because we've stepped up our gaming. We're serious about gaming.
I'm much more excited about gaming. So, favorite things we like to talk about, just what you're into right now. What you're enjoying.
It can be anything. It could be a dog you saw on the street, a cloud you saw in the sky, a book you read, a song, a movie, whatever.
Candy
has come up. Snacks have come up.
Snacks have come up a couple times.
The Americans.
The Americans.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
We're on season 2.
I think that's where I'm
Okay.
at. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
behind everyone else.
Uh-huh.
For me it took a little while for it to not be a little confusingly plotted, but now I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like at night when we make food. It's like we watch The Americans, and then we just go to Amazon Prime and watch Americans. So I'm enjoying that.
It's a good show. What's
It's a weird way to turn your brain off, but it's
Yeah.
you're like, I'm just gonna turn my brain off and watch, Cold War espionage thriller.
I just want to watch
Plotting.
something on TV about Russians infiltrating, U.S. culture.
Something that has nothing to do with
the
current
news.
events at all.
Yeah.
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 We kind of need the Americans to watch girls with, because HBO's Girls, we care about them, but you
Okay.
can't watch it back to back. It's too much.
Okay.
So we put the Americans in between.
Yeah. Whenever Alv and I watch Girls, if we watch a second episode, we get in a huge fight.
It just happened yesterday.
But during the first episode, it's like we're fine. And we're like, oh yeah, this is good. Millennials, man, they fucking suck. Second episode, it's like,
Like, you
then,
kind of
she's outside on
talk
the computer.
like those characters because you're like being
The amount
brainwashed.
of white girl privilege in that show starts to seep in, and suddenly you just feel like you're owed something. By the second episode, you're suddenly like, but I want a pony. And then, how come you never bought me a pony? And then that's it.
That was you.
See,
That's what I'm saying. That was me. I
want a pony.
45 minutes into the Girls, I was like, I want a pony. You never got me a pony.
Ponies are supposed to be great. Horses are too big and terrifying to me, but
The first half of this final season I liked, and now these last couple, ever since they wrote in the Lena Dunham's pregnant storyline, I've just kind of been bummed out.
I'm with you.
It's such a that's like jumping the pregnant shark. in a way,
I'm mad at the show, which maybe is a redundant thing to say. Like, of course I'm mad at the show. It's my
that's
own
what
fault
you're
for
about.
watching the fucking show. But I'm not. A lot of people I know are really into this and into the pregnancy thing, and I'm
Really?
not really.
Besides Nylon and Salon, who else is into it?
Friends of mine, people I know.
Jezebel.com's into it.
People I know who watch the show are like, "Oh, I love this season," and I'm like,
I like the writing, but it's a thing that they are going through.
I don't think my favorite moment was when Elijah said to her, "You'll be, you shouldn't have this baby. You'll be a terrible mother." And I was like, "That is what Elijah for President 2020. Like that is 100% true." And I feel like she's being very selfish and short-sighted, frankly, by planning on keeping this baby, which I was like, maybe that's the point, and this is actually really subversive, because it's like a pro-abortion thing about, like, look, this woman's, like, keeping her baby, and it was a really selfish thing to do, because she's going to be a terrible mother who's going to...
We didn't get through the last episode because we had a huge fight, but the one before it where her and Adam were going to do it, and by the end they were kind of like, no. They kind of like he kind of like got bored of the idea of taking care of the kid.
They both kind of realized it wasn't working as hell.
But the way like she looked, I was almost like, wait, is she gonna get rid of the baby now? Because not even just get rid of him. Same thought. I was like, maybe she's gonna end it.
She should. She's not going to.
But then the next episode seems like it was more about we didn't see it, so don't tell us. I know it has to do with Shoshana and stuff. But maybe they will go there. Because otherwise you're just saving Harry Potter at the end, right? Like do something strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like she ruined her books by having him live. That's what I think.
Okay.
He was supposed to die. And in the end, she even said at the end of when Harry Potter was over, she said, I lost my nerve. She was going to Frodo him. He was going to go off into the other area.
Okay.
And then she was like, I feel bad for all the fans. So she actually betrayed an entire book of awesomeness by letting the one guy who probably should have sacrificed himself live.
See, that's probably what would have gotten me to actually like sit down and read all the books, because I've read the first one, I got halfway through the second one, and I was kind of like meh.
It gets good at 3. Azkaban and Goblet of Fire were pretty good books.
Okay.
And Order of the Phoenix is not a good book, but it's a really good movie. And then they split the last book into 2, like they did with every movie recently.
Every YA.
The Hobbit is 3
Hunger
movies,
Games.
and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2, and Hunger Games Part 1 through 7, when it's like one book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But she kind of betrayed the end, like the whole point. Like there's a difference between a classic book and that was fun and entertaining, and she kind of like chose fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I wonder if
choice
is it partly because they were making the movies by the time she was finishing
it? I doubt it. I mean, because there are deaths in that last book that are rough and like upsetting for me to read, and I would have been upset if Harry died. I'm not saying it would have been the wrong choice, but it would have been.
It would have been a good upset, though. Yeah. It would have been like poetic.
Well, and then Neville could have been the hero like he always should have been, because he was the best.
Neville was a hero. He was heroic.
He ended up by the end of the film series, which we've watched, which I watched a couple times because my wife's a big fan. He ended up being my favorite because I was like, this guy's great.
He's great.
Why isn't he? I mean, he's in it throughout.
Yeah.
And he's important in every book, but. And then my wife was explaining to me how like the whole prophecy thing applies to both him and Harry, and I was like, oh. But Harry's the famous one. But wouldn't it be better if... See, now I want Harry to die and then Neville to be the one who saves the day, because the whole time you were watching the wrong character.
Well, I mean, Harry would die saving the day.
Okay.
Instead of, like, getting married to Ginny, was it?
Which creeps me out.
And Hermione was married to Ron. And they're 50 and haven't had problems for 50
And nobody
years.
needed to, like, know those details.
And now they're making the prequels.
I have 2 kids.
Kinda.
I have 3.
Like the Fantastic Beast is like Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah, I didn't see
Is it? I haven't seen it.
No, I mean like as far as like just like let's go back.
Yeah.
We don't always need to go back.
Yeah.
No.
What's your favorite thing?
Well,
Big Little Lies.
You can go ahead, because I think your favorite thing is going to be one that I was going to do, and I have an alternative option.
How did you know?
I have an alternative option.
I just started watching, as I told you, Legion, and I'm enjoying it. So that's my favorite thing right now.
How is it?
I'm enjoying it. I feel like I have a lot of open questions because I don't know where various things are going, and I also don't want to spoil anything.
Have you seen Legion, Sean?
Yeah. This is
so
one
you guys
I'm thinking.
both. That's your favorite thing right now.
I finished it a couple days back,
and I've only seen the first 3 episodes.
Oh,
I just started Preacher though, the TV series based on.
It's good.
Are they coming? I think so. It's totally different. Well, it's not totally different, but it's like not the same plot line. But it's all the characters from the books. I think it's probably a better plot line. I know I was turned off at first because it's Seth Rogen and his writing buddy are like the producer.
Evan Goldberg?
Evan Goldberg.
Yeah.
We're like producers on the show, and we're kind of driving getting it made. And I was like, that doesn't quite seem appropriate there.
To the Preacher,
But watching it, I'm like, nope. They've got like the tone down right, and the tone updated right, because it's a very 90s
I think Seth
story.
and Evan are great writers. So
yeah,
but maybe that wasn't. the first material you would think of.
Exactly, but
They're great, though.
And I think it's working quite well as somebody who enjoyed the books and was kind of concerned about, like, if you were going to directly adapt the books, it would have to take place in like the mid '90s because of various things that happen. But I think I quite enjoy it. But I enjoyed Legion as well. I think it's very trippy and
things to watch.
I love the trippiness of it. It's visually really good. It looks
it's shot so well.
It's shot really, really well. Also, Aubrey Plaza, like everybody's saying, is great on it. And like, I mean, I liked her a lot before this show, but she gets to play a character where she just gets to do a lot more. That's like more multifaceted and like,
she's not being asked to be like flat the whole time.
No, she's acting.
Yeah, she's
really good.
She's not just Daria.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because the character's not like completely removed from her character on Parks and Rec, but it's just has many more dimensions than
having energy as well.
Yeah, and different kinds of energy in different scenes.
Yeah, and it's like the same character, but like if they added energy to that character.
Did you guys watch the second season of Fargo?
I
haven't watched Fargo yet. I need to watch it.
The second season of Fargo is amazing, but Noah Hawley, who
right,
you know,
same guy,
Legion. And so he did season 3 and Legion at the same time.
Okay,
so I'm sure they're going to be. I mean, his screenwriting is just so good. He's a great screenwriter. Fargo season 2 is one of my favorite things of all time.
I've heard really good things about Fargo, but I have not yet.
I used to think that all these great shows are coming out so that while we're waiting for Game of Thrones, we have something to watch.
Big Little Lies.
But now
really
that
good.
it's coming out, I'm not
Big
very
Little Lies, that was
excited.
awesome.
I've seen like the first episode, and I will watch the rest of Big Little Lies.
I haven't watched it yet.
I kept putting it on when I was like kind of doing other things, and then being like, wait, no, this is a new show. I need to give it my full attention because I don't know who these people are yet. And
it's great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though.
My cousin watched it back to back. It has a completely different feel than when we watch it once a week, and the whole week we're just like, oh. And she's like, I didn't even try to guess what happened because it happened back to back. Do you guys? Do you guys?
It's the only
watch?
It's the only time we haven't just like burned through stuff.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since it's like, oh, it's coming out next week. Usually I'm just like, oh, there it is on Netflix.
Yeah,
you know.
Oftentimes
change the way
I'll wait, which is not good.
And then just
or I'll do it in like chunks.
Sometimes it's good to wait though. I think some things are structured in a way so that having that anticipation becomes a part of the pleasure of watching it, and other things like you'll forget details or whatever, and then be like, wait, what happened? And it's better to watch it back to back. I think it's similarly sometimes. I was watching Buffy on Netflix, and then they took Buffy off of Netflix, so I started watching it on Hulu, where they have commercial breaks.
Oh.
And I realized, at first I was really pissed, because I'm already pissed that I pay like $7 a month for Hulu and have to watch commercials. I think this is a great injustice. But then I'm like, wait, but this show was structured to have commercial breaks. And so it was an interesting experiment for me to like watch the same show in those two different formats, and there's something to be said for like having a minute in between each of the four acts, you know, because it was designed that way, whereas TV today is designed assuming people are going to stream it and skip the commercials.
Well, we are watching The Americans now on Amazon Prime, and you see the breaks where the commercials would have been, but there's no commercials.
Yeah, isn't it weird sometimes?
So it's like
it feels
silence for 2 seconds.
And then they usually it gets frustrating sometimes when you're streaming like that, because the next scene will sort of recap the end of the last scene, and you're like, no, I know what happened. I was just watching it. Watching it. Don't do that. I mean, it's more
especially on reality shows.
Yeah,
reality shows do that. I get angry.
I really appreciate Black Mirror though.
Oh, Black Mirror,
because it has nothing to do with the other episodes.
Yeah.
That's complete.
I've been watching that like one at a time, and I'll just jump around because it doesn't matter. Like if somebody was telling me, oh, this episode's really good, then I'll watch that one, and watching it totally out of order.
I feel like it's
nice.
mandatory because it's so real. It's
depressingly real.
And Westworld.
I haven't
watched that one yet.
I feel like the new season of Black Mirror was okay. That's how I feel. But I did like the second episode.
Which one was that one? I know I watched
the virtual reality one with the weird spider that had someone's head, and like he goes into that. Yeah, I like that. And that's the guy who directed the Cloverfield Lane movie.
Oh, that was fucking great.
And so it's all about the contained space. And like terror. So it's
that was a very good one.
Yeah. And I feel like he's not dead at the end.
Wait, which one was?
This is like a spoiler episode.
That's the one with Kurt Russell's son.
Is that Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah, that's Wyatt Russell.
Exactly the same.
Oh, shit.
With the beard, it's Wyatt Russell. So he goes, it starts with that weird like misdirect where there's that girl, and then who loses money or whatever, and then he goes to that computer place where he's put into the simulation, and then he's at the haunted house.
Yeah.
But at the end, they make it like they pulled it out of him when he was dead, and he was on the floor.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I think he's still alive.
Yeah.
Because like you're seeing it from the point of view of a camera, and like how would you see that? Whose point of view are we getting this whole episode?
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that feels like he's also experiencing that death. That's the ultimate terror.
Dude.
Is your own death. So I feel like he's still alive.
And just watching.
And so that the one fear that he really had was that it was going to go wrong and kill him. So in my mind, he's still alive at the end.
Yeah, that one's got layers.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to that one.
Kept
Yeah.
ending, but it wasn't over, and it's twisting at the end. There were like 5 twists,
and I like 90% of the first episode, the one with the girl who had to keep like giving stars to people.
I liked that one a lot more than I expected to. Honestly, I was like, this looks corny, and then I'm like, no, this was actually really good. I
just didn't like when they were yelling at each other in the cell at the end. I thought that was weird.
Yeah,
everything up to that point I liked. I understand that they finally got to express themselves with no retribution because they had no stars, so it was okay to like finally let all the stuff out. But the stuff they were saying was so weirdly corny. I wanted them to just go for it. Yeah. So that was the one part that bothered me. But the rest of their episode, I liked that there was that woman that picked them up who had only 1 star.
Yeah.
That was cool.
She was good. That was
pretty
I love
epic.
Cherry Jones.
Yeah, and you know who that
I met her when I was a teenager.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, I get to ask her a question. So I was like, I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and should I learn to speak English like American English, or should I keep my accent? She answered with one word. She said, stretch. I was like, okay. So deep.
It could just mean so many things.
I mean, when you were, messing with your fan and you're stretching.
Yeah, exactly. Stretching is good for the
It's
back.
like it's kind of an annoying answer because it's like you like went up Mount Everest and there was like a guy up there. Like he was like, I finally get to ask him one question, and you ask him this, what is the meaning of life? And he's like, stretch. I'd be like, I'd be like, how's that for the meaning of life? I would probably kill him.
That is so
because it's a long
that
journey.
is a stretch because you stretch the back muscle.
Stretch this.
It's layers.
Then he would probably like levitate, and that would be it for me. But yeah,
you would fall over and stretch. Mm-hmm. Now, did we get your favorite thing?
No, mine is not a show. Mine is actually social media related. I mean, internet related. You guys know about kit.com?
No.
So it's a new platform. I think they're 15 months into it. There were only 6 employees, but it's wonderful because I went to their party 2 weeks ago. Actually vlogged about it. And it's a platform where you put all your favorite tools and products and things together. So that's an answer for your question of what's your favorite things. You go to the platform, you get to create your own kit. Say if you're a chef, then you say, these are all the knives I use. Okay. And if you're a filmmaker, these are all my cameras. And people can go visit and see what are your favorite things. And I think that's so much better than talking about what we don't like. It's kind of like Pinterest coming to life.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds kind of like Pinterest, but not.
I made one.
Oh, did you?
Because, I'm producing Tracy Bonham's record.
Right.
So I figured people would want to know, when they hear it, they want to know what equipment I used.
Yeah.
So I have an Amazon affiliate account where if people buy stuff through the link that I have, I get a percentage of the profits.
Sure.
So I put up like all the apps and plugins and Logic and then all the guitar pedals and the guitars and whatever. So if anyone goes to Kit, they see the entire kit that I used to make this record, and they might be like, I want it to sound like that record, so they might just buy the whole thing, and then I get a percentage. Yeah. So it's a way for you to put everything together in one place.
Because people do even at film festivals.
Yeah.
They're usually asking like, "What did you shoot on?"
Yeah, exactly. They're always asking.
Yeah.
And the good thing is like on I have a YouTube channel, and instead of putting today, I use this camera.
Is that Craig?
And I have to that's the friend that hosted, Craig Adams.
Yeah. This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hosted the party. So instead of replacing your links every single time, because you change your kits, you just say go to Kit, and then you'll find everything that I use. And so you go through, like I have one for books, one for my broadcasting products, And one secret weapons for girly stuff.
Yeah, it's got a dildo in it. I mean, it's a secret weapon. Not a secret anymore.
There's no secret on the show.
But no, I mean, I put together what I used to record this record by going to a producer that I like his stuff.
Yeah.
And then trying to find an interview where we talked about it, and I found one.
Nice.
So this is actually just a really condensed version of that.
Yeah, it's like
he
a
was
shortcut
He was
to that.
talking about all the different things. I was like, I bought all of them.
Yeah.
So to start there.
Yeah.
You know.
That's very cool.
So definitely a fun thing to check out and get on.
So, do you guys want to play a game?
That's all I came here for. Games.
Games! All right. Why are you messing with me, man?
How are we doing on time? Is it good? Do we run long or?
Yeah, we're running a little bit long, but that's my fault. And I think some of it might be because I did the
And we
pre-roll
talk
there.
about movies and TV most of the time.
That's okay. All right. So this, we're going to play a trivia game about trivia.
Okay.
So, first question. Oh, and I was going through my stuff the other day, and I found that I still have a ton of these photo postcards from our former guest and a friend of mine, Chris Cafaro. He's a photographer out in LA. He just recently
those are
had
his pictures.
and these are his photos on there, and I have a ton of these. So for every question you get right, you can have a postcard.
Wow, it's a Maynard one.
Yeah.
You know, Tool's gonna finally put their stuff on Spotify when the new record comes out.
Oh, really?
I've been waiting for two bands, King Crimson and Tool, to join Spotify instead of me walking around with YouTube playing on my phone. So that's cool. Nirvana, what? Iggy Pop.
Since when do we give prizes besides like whatever pen we found
Since
on
we
your
brought
floor?
gifts.
Because
That's true. That is very
because I was
neat.
cleaning my apartment and I realized I still have probably dozens of these postcards and I've had them for like 2 years. So
all our guests who've been on before
we'll
and
have to
won-
come back.
Yeah, or I was gonna say can suck it, or can come back. Can come back.
They can come back.
Let's go with come back.
Look at me being the polite one for
I
once.
know.
All right.
I'm
So
only taking the dead ones.
oh, that makes me sad.
Nirvana, George Michael, and Lane Staley.
These ones are what are they called?
Contact sheets.
Contact sheets.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So, first question on our trivia game about trivia is which color corresponds to history in the Trivial Pursuit board game? Is it A, yellow, B, greenish, C, blue, or D, neon pink?
The first one.
Yellow?
Yeah.
All right. John says yellow. What do you think?
Repeat the second, third.
Yellow, greenish, blue, neon pink.
I was gonna go with yellow, but he's taken it, so blue.
Oh, you can also go with yellow if you want.
Totally forget what neon pink is. I totally forget that one, but I know the rest of them. So
Blue.
Blue? So you're just going to say blue? What are you going to
I'm gonna
say?
say greenish.
You're going to say greenish.
Greenish.
can I
Okay.
tell you what I know? I know green is probably science and blue is geography. So yellow's got to be history, but pink is that like entertainment, movies, and
Pop
stuff?
culture.
Not
I
pink.
think so.
So to answer that question, I'm pretty sure neon pink isn't one of the triangles.
Gotcha.
It totally is, though.
I
It
feel like
totally
it
is.
Maybe it isn't one of them,
Maybe not all editions are
I
the
thought
same.
that was
I
a
don't
pink.
know.
but the
I think it's movies.
it might be. Maybe there's a pinkish one. I was trying to throw in one that was obviously not right, but I guess that did not work. The correct answer is yellow.
You would have gotten me if you put brown in there, because in my mind, history was either brown or yellow. So when it didn't show up, I was like, okay.
Because it's like an old book or something like
Yeah.
that. So you're
So you get
welcome
a
to
postcard.
select a postcard.
Okay.
Yay!
All right. And
Yeah, blue is
Congratulations.
geography. I played that game a lot, a long time ago.
I played it a
to the
bit
point
when I
where
was
I
a kid.
memorized the question.
When I was
so
bad
I
at
would
it.
run out of questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was bad at playing it. Okay, so the original for question number 2, the original version of television quiz show Jeopardy premiered in what year? A, 1982, B, 1975, C, 1885, or D, 1964?
Who is tempted to say 18? I'm so tempted. I know there was no TV, but I'm so tempted.
I mean, it's your choice.
B.
You say B, 1975?
Yes.
And what
I'll
do you
say the 82.
Nicole says 1982.
64.
You say 64?
Yeah.
And the correct answer is 1964, so feel free to take
Nice.
another.
Oh,
Also, I'll take
shit.
Nirvana and Mars.
Cleaning
No, actually
up.
Maynard. Maynard and Nirvana. Why not?
Maynard and Nirvana. All right, last question.
Good choices.
Which television dad composed the theme song to the trivia game show The Joker's Wild in the 1970s?
The Joker's Wild. I've never even seen this show.
Neither have I.
I want to see it. Sounds
But you
good.
may recognize the names of some of these television dads. A. Carol O'Connor. B. Ed O'Neill. C. Alan Thicke. Or D. Spuds MacKenzie.
Carol O'Connor.
It's Carol O'Connor.
Oh, I think it's Alan Thicke.
Nicole thinks it's Alan Thicke.
I have no idea.
No idea? You wanna guess at A, B, C, or D?
C.
C. Alan Thicke. And the correct answer is Alan Thicke.
I knew that he was a musician. You know, the Growing Pains guy.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe like way back then he wasn't doing that yet.
That's when he did most of it.
Oh, that's
He
so
did
cool.
postcards.
Okay.
He did.
You
He
get to
did.
pick
He did a lot of. He did the Different Strokes theme song.
I got
and-
fooled by Carol O'Connor in front of the piano.
Yeah, because I was like, see, I was worried, because I can never remember his real name, and so I was worried people would be like, "Who's Carol O'Connor?" And for listeners, Carol O'Connor is Archie Bunker.
And In the Heat of the Night.
And In the Heat of the Night, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I finally watched that a couple of months ago. No, about a year ago, and I was
Carol
just like, "That's
O'Connor
amazing."
was a super liberal dude. And the guy he played was,
Just
you know,
not
like a more conservative Homer Simpson, pretty much.
yeah.
That's my chair. Edith, eh?
So that was our first episode with Lake Cambrian. Come back next time for our 25th episode.
Well, where can we find you on social media? Where can our listeners find you guys?
Everything late Cambrian. LateCambrian.
And do either of you guys have personal ones? I know you do.
Yeah, I'm Pineapple O. Pineapple O.
The letter O. The number O. The letter O.
It's a letter.
It's a letter.
It's a letter. It's in the alphabet.
I got
It's in the
Pearl
alphabet.
Jam here.
Nice.
This guy, yay.
And
Late Cambrian is the time period 390 million years ago, and during the Late Cambrian period was the Cambrian explosion, when life went from like, oh, there's a few trilobites to like, whoa, there's a lot of shit. It's all very dangerous. So if you want to know
like
how to
your music.
spell it, because people are always like Lake Cambrian, or you know, but it's Late Cambrian, like the time period. So LateCambrian.com.
I just learned more in those 30 seconds than I feel like I have in like the past year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like I'm like, wow, I just got educated. Knowledge.
I just got education.
Yeah.
whoa,
Dangerous
and,
minds.
And we're and we're 4 Mile Circus. That's 4milecircus.com. Twitter 4 Mile Circus. Instagram 4 Mile Circus. Facebook 4 Mile
number
Circus.
4 or
The
spelled
number
out?
Number 4.
Make sure.
And then Mile Circus, all one word.
Or Mile Circus.
Mile Circus. I'm just fucking up letters
Sure.
today. I don't know.
4 mile circumcision.
Yeah. That's another podcast we'll have to
Like
do.
this is like whoa.
That's a whole other one.
God's penis.
Long
So-
as we get a testicle article.
Yeah.
So
There's
we'll
lots of good ideas. It's good.
we'll be back in the
5 minutes.
next episode to talk a little bit more about testicles and music and how they fund their music. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Thanks.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, or your platform of choice. Please visit us at 4milecircus.com to learn about our other projects and services, and be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 4 Mile Circus.